guys ready for some comedy? Well, then the next 8 minutes are going to be real disappointing. But no, I'm Ryan McFadden, and I hope you all like the fit. I actually just came from taking my second grade school photo. We were all second graders once. You know, design majors were the kids who put their blood, sweat, and tears into every art project. Probably because they ate the last of their crayons and glitter glue. Engineers were the nerds who killed it on every math quiz and spelling test. And rightfully got bullied by future design majors. And business majors were the kids who took the whole year just to learn what comes after 4. Not much has changed. You know, I give my business friends a lot of crap, but I really think they've got it all figured out. I mean, think about it. You can't tell how bad your grades are if you never learn your ABCs. Until we have some business majors here. But a little about me, I'm the youngest of 7 kids, and whenever people find this out, they always ask the same couple of questions. First off, no, we're not Mormon. Just Catholic. Second, I also don't know why. My parents didn't just get cable. Like, I know there wasn't a lot to do before TikTok came around. But geez, Mom. Ever heard of book club? Finally, yes, I was planned. You guys weren't supposed to laugh at that one. No, my parents say I was planned, but I'm still a little suspicious. The thing is, all of my siblings were born a year apart, but I was born 3 years after my closest sibling. Now, I know that might not sound like a big difference, but keep in mind, this was no amateur operation. My parents were the Marvel Studios of baby making. They just kept churning out scheduled bangers year after year. My birth was like if 3 years after Endgame, Marvel came out with, I don't know, Doctor Strange 2? Like, we don't watch it. But everyone would know it was a mistake. Growing up as the youngest, I got used to losing in a lot of games against my siblings. Picture a giant WWE brawl with 6 veteran wrestlers ready to face off. But when the match starts, they all jump out of the ring to go pummel some fan who was just there for the snacks. We played a lot of card games when I was really little, but my siblings knew that I didn't know how to read the rule book. So whenever I'd win a hand, they'd just tell me it was against the rules for the youngest player to win. Can you believe how lazy their lives were? But what could I do? The rule book had more than 10 words and 0 pictures of dinosaurs. That's like a dog trying to read Shakespeare. Or a business major trying to read... There was one game I always beat my siblings at growing up, even when they would all team up against me. Hide and seek. One day, I hid in the pantry for a whole afternoon, and those fools drove all the way to the water park to try to find me. What can I say? I've always been the brains of the family. In class, we learned that smooth, logical transitions are what makes great comedians. Luckily for me, I'm not a great comedian. You guys want to talk about raccoons? They're amazing. They've got the hands of a baby and the gut of a walrus. There is nothing else like that in all of nature. Well, I I guess you all met Gavin earlier. I'm pretty sure that someday raccoons are going to take over the world. Like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just enlightened. Raccoons just have that manifest destiny look in their eyes. Yeah, just like that. Thanks, random white guy. Would anyone even object to raccoons taking over our civilization? Exactly! We'd be fine. We're already used to having a bunch of gray-haired trash eaters in charge. Make a politics joke, they said. It'll be fun! That was loud. Well, look at that. It's a logical segue. Looks like it's not coming anywhere near here. So this one time in middle school, I was going camping with my best friend Jacob, and his family brought their go-kart to the camp. Go-kart might be too generous, but Death Trap for Two isn't as catchy. Fun fact, that's also what my parents call marriage. So we were driving this murder machine one night, and like an engineer when they see their calc grade, it broke down. So we pushed the car back to the edge of the camp, which was no small task, considering we had the combined strength of a soggy saltine. At the edge of the camp, there was this creek with steep banks on either side. And I was no physicist, but I knew that two stick figures pushing a half-ton of rust and duct tape up a giant hill is what Sir Isaac Newton would classify as a dumbass idea. Or as business majors would call it, an idea. Jacob, on the other hand, took one look at the moonlit ravine and said, "We can make it," before pushing me down the bank with the cart. I went flying down the bank, grasping onto the cart like Peter holding onto his middle age. Rather unsuccessfully. I tripped and face-planted in the creek as I saw the cart get halfway up the hill before rolling back down to send me to the seventh circle of hell, commonly known as Gilman Hall. I went to scramble to my feet when out of nowhere I felt something heavy pounce onto my chest. I looked up and I saw two soulless eyes staring above me as a raccoon raised its baby hands. Manifest destiny, motherfucker! Thank you guys, everybody. Our next comedian of the night, it's Plunkett, ladies and
So how are we doing tonight? So my name is Plunkett, and unfortunately I did grow up in southern Missouri, which is practically Arkansas to everyone up here. So yes, before you ask, my siblings are also my cousins. And yeah, I've had more rednecks in me than a Bass Pro. Everyone say hi to my mom at home. And yeah, the guy I'm dating does just so happen to have the same last name as my mother. That's not inbred. We're just in love. So with me from southern Missouri, I'm also a dairy science major who's lactose intolerant, which is a double threat if you ask me. But anyways, we might as well get this on the road. I had a pint of Ben & Jerry's before this, so. So people always say spending time with your family is the best therapy. But my family's the reason I'm in therapy. Like, they did their best and all, but it was like a great value best. Like, there were a plethora of better options on the shelves, but they were balling on a budget. So contrary to my mother's belief, I really do love my family on holidays. But I'm extremely good at pissing them off, especially my mother. And it's not even that I go out of my way to piss her off. It just comes naturally. So one way I piss her off is by being a daddy's girl, which I don't really know how it's my fault. I have more testosterone than both of my brothers combined. Or bigger guns. And that's not the only thing that's bigger. My IQ, obviously. Or the fact that I treat her pantry as my own personal shopping center when I come home. But this one's kind of her fault because she stockpiles it with all of my favorite snacks, and she knows I'm still hungry from that time she sent me to fat camp. I love my mother. Or the fact that my cows moo all night long. I really don't know what she was expecting when I brought them off the trailer. I guess I should have taught them to bark. Or the fact that I moved 7 hours away to go to college. Which, that one's my bad. I should have dropped out of high school like the rest of my family. My bad for breaking that family tradition, Ma. So even though I grew up in southern Missouri, I grew up in a pretty suburban area, so I didn't have any real connection to agriculture. So when I came here, it was kind of hard to find, my ag people at first, because, the closest thing I had to ag was the dirt and worms I eat in my backyard, which tastes nothing like the Sunday. Still good, but just 2 different flavors. So I spent my time going through all the cliques and ags so that way you don't have to. And let's begin the roasting session of most of them. First, we have the livestock judging kids. Now, these kids were bred. These kids were bred to show cattle, or judge cattle, so why not judge people too? And if I joined them, I'd have to walk around in those big old bell-bottom jeans and cowboy boots. Oh shit, I should have chosen a better outfit. And those cowboy hats and the belt buckles the size of Texas, It's almost as if they're trying to compensate for something. Spoiler alert, they are. Or the small animal / pre-vet kids. Not much I can really say about this group. Their mental health is already deteriorating enough as it is. And they'll get all the rejection that they ever need from every vet school in the country. And men. And last but not least, we have the dairy kids. Now I know what you're thinking. Liz, you're really going to roast your own people? And the answer is yes. So these kids spent their childhoods knee-deep in cow shit, pulling teats, and chasing after animals 10 times their size, all while carrying a hot rod and yelling "Yeehaw." All I'm saying is I would not turn my back on one of those heifers. So how many of you guys were here Monday night and heard my girl Jenna give her set? Yeah! She killed it. So I thought I'd put together some dating advice for her since, she's having some trouble. But anyways, for those of you who weren't here, she did a bit about how she ran through the entire military. So I thought I would give her some advice on America's other heroes, farmers. So first we have crop farmers. Now, all I'm saying is they know how to plow some fields. Do with that what you will. And then we have the beef farmers. Now, they like to think that what they're packing around is prime quality meat, but it's great value at best. And then we have the ag engineers. Now, let's just say, there is a lot that this group could do with some zip ties and duct tape. But typically I use the duct tape to tape their mouth shut because at the end of the day, they're still an engineer. And then we have pig farmers. Now, they're always a little too proud of their sausage, if you ask me. But I tell you what, they really know how to make a girl squeal. And last but not least, we have the dairy farmers. I mean, come on. They spend all day pulling teeth, so obviously they're qualified. And now back to my favorite topic of the night, pissing my mother off. Now, one other way I piss her off is by giving out unsolicited dating advice, which she doesn't find funny or helpful, but maybe if she took my advice, she wouldn't be on husband number 3. Number 4 is on the way. So us girls in the ag world have this rule called the ABCs. Now, I'm not talking the ABCs that you learned in preschool, or if you're a business major, the ABCs that you never learned. So you might want to pair up with a partner so you understand this. So the ABCs are essentially a list of criteria that a guy has to meet in order to even be seen with an ag girl. A stands for acres. Gotta have lots of them. B stands for brothers, meaning they better have some because we like options. And C stands for cows, because cows. Now, if a guy doesn't meet this list of criteria, we ship him out to pasture to be with the horse girls. Because let's be honest, they'll ride anything that comes galloping by. No, but for real, I wish a man would talk to me the way dairy farmers talk to their cows. You can laugh at that, I realize how crazy I sound. But no, for real. So the other day, me and my boss were running this cow up to the parlor, and she almost slipped and fell, and the first words out of his mouth were, "Whoa, girl, you make too much milk just to fall over and die." And I'm just like, probably not what every woman wants to hear at 6 a.m. on a Monday. Well, unless you're from Wisconsin. Then it's a compliment. Or when I worked at a dairy back home, me and my boss, this big burly dude, were trying to run this heifer through a sort gate, and she wouldn't go, because why would she? She's still a woman. So he picks the ass into this cow up and deadlifts her up and through the sword gate, and I'm just like, damn, dude, you could have at least bought her dinner first. Chivalry really is dead out here. Or the other day when we were picking cows out to go to the big show, and there was these 3 grown men standing around this one innocent little heifer, saying things like, look at the udders on that heifer. And that teat placement, ooh, she's a purebred for sure. And look at the top line on that heifer, grand champion material, baby. And all I'm saying is if a man walked right up to me and said that, he'd either get a black eye or me pregnant.
for the first 18 years of my life. And then I got to college, and I remember my first night there, kind of went something like, "Hey, Mom. Yeah. Hey, how are you doing? What's for supper tonight?" "What do you mean you're not bringing me anything?" "Yeah, I live 3 hours away. So what?" I lost 15 pounds that year. Makes me want to write one of those tabloids like the negative freshman 15 boosts tips for easy weight loss. I don't know if it'd sell that well, but I know Gavin would buy a copy. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but I also got pretty long hair. And it's not like I ever decided, I really like long hair, I think it looks cool, I should grow mine out. It's more like I've been waking up every day and looking in the mirror and thinking, my hair's getting pretty long. I should call and schedule an appointment tomorrow. Yeah, maybe I'm lazy, but I just like to blame that on being the youngest child. Never had to do anything before. But there's ups and downs to everything. Like oldest children, it kind of sucks at first. You got to raise yourself and 2 other kids. But after that, you got your life together. Like shout out to my sister. She just bought a house today. Yeah, I'm really close. I'm really happy she made it to the show tonight. But I only really asked her to come to Ames so she could do my laundry. And then there's only children. Is any of those in here? Yeah, that's awesome. You get all the attention from your parents, right? Yeah. 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 You're also the third wheel in their marriage, right? Little kids, you guys got it real tough, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. If something breaks, it's your fault. You know you're not the favorite. And you always kind of get ignored around the house. But the nice part about being a middle child, I don't know. Like this Easter, my sister, she got a great pair of designer sunglasses. My parents got me a new pair of shoes. My brother, he got a vegetable peeler. I felt pretty bad for him, but when I went to go kind of cheer him up, he just seemed happy they weren't going to get him anything at all. Yeah, but I've grown a little bit as a person this year. Living in my own apartment, cooking some of my own food. Not because I want to, but if I lost 15 more pounds, I wouldn't be here. Yeah, the only problem is I've got this Italian roommate, and he absolutely hates it when I make pasta. He treats me like a serial killer, but I guarantee you, whatever Dahmer was cooking in the kitchen was way worse. My biggest pet peeve is that he's always coming into my room and taking my food, which would suck because he doesn't share. But I don't know much about Roman Catholicism, but to keep him out, I just started smearing Prego across the top of my door frame. Yeah. Being the youngest child, my parents never really made me sit down and organize my thoughts. And right now I'm thinking I get pretty bored in lecture halls. But there's a lot of things you can do in lecture halls to pass the time. Like watching that girl in front of you complain about her boyfriend in the notes app. About halfway through the period, I always start playing Minesweeper on my computer. And a great way to pass the time, but also just to make new friends. I like sitting down next to someone new, just playing some footsie. I also think rings are just pretty interesting as an accessory, because you can tell a lot about a person just by looking at the ring on their hand. You know, like if a woman's wearing one ring, it's pretty safe to say she's happily married. Like my mother. If a man's wearing a ring, it's, you know, also safe to say he's married. Or in my father's case, that he's settled. Yeah, thanks for laughing at that. I'm never getting a home-cooked meal again. But there's another type of guy that wears one ring, okay? And this ring, it's big, it's silver, and it reads, Iowa State Baseball Qualifier. This guy's a little bit of a meathead, but he's also my brother. And he doesn't really wear this ring because he's that proud of it. It's just that it's the last time my parents gave him any attention. I think girls that wear like multiple rings are also pretty interesting because it's like, are you trying to impress someone? Like, who are you trying to attract? Like, do you think guys are just some dumb animals that love shiny rocks? Well, you're right. I love shiny rocks. Yeah, but I've also got very little game. Yeah, I've been single for a while, but the other day there was this cute girl in my class, and I thought, you know, today's different. Like, today's the day. I got myself hyped up, and I followed her Instagram. I think if I like 3 more posts, she'll DM me. I always see girls talking about like golden retriever guys, you know, but nobody likes it when I smell them. I don't think that's like entirely a bad trait for a person to have, because like in 20 years it might get me elected.
For Shawn Husgen!
That's what I expected. Hello, everybody. So this is Megan Pete. My name is Shawn Husgen. If you were listening carefully, Gavin almost pronounced it correctly. I am a senior in chemical engineering. Thank you. Engineering is the obvious and only reason I have never dated a woman. Yeah, they keep asking it, Patty. Happy used to cheat too. I have done a total of 4 semesters of research on campus, which is a very fancy way of saying I pay thousands of dollars to commit OSHA violations. Wendy, if you're watching this, oh no you ain't. We're not talking about this until my student loans are paid off. We're taking this to the grave, everyone. Just to prevent curiosity from killing your cat, here are a few helpful chemistry tips I picked up. Pentane does not taste good. 9 out of 10 dentists do not recommend it. Inhaling hydroquinone feels like cancer. Likely by Journey 30. But after seeing Peter, I don't want to live that long anyway. And finally, ethyl acetate is in fact odorless. That, or it's hard to smell while unconscious. Hard to tell, further research required. Cereal is human animal food. I eat it every day, and yet I'm still not a beast with the ladies. But thank you for the recommendation, Aunt Patty. Look, you really don't have to worry about whether or not I will get a girlfriend. I am as straight as the earth is flat. A fact so obvious, you can see it from space. One of the flavors of queer that I am is asexual. Asexual. Asexual being the obvious and only reason I don't give a fuck. The weird thing about being defined as having no sexual attraction is that it says nothing about sexual desire. You see, I have testosterone, and it is responsible for the two worst parts of me, a sex drive and 5 inches. Of height. Gosh, the average American male is 5 inches taller than their female counterpart. Relax. The only 5 in an engineer's pants is seconds. Unfortunately, even a little bit of testosterone is able to give me the male intelligence. Let's get laid! Let's get laid! Get baddies! Get daddies! Pull or pull. Corey knows the limitations. Or, if you're an engineer and can't get a partner, that's right, it goes in the square hole. Tick-tock, here's my... Anyway. The rest of me, which is not a testosterone-driven puberty monster, can use rational thought. You want me to put my what? Where? Willingly? Why? I want no part in this heterosexual birthing ritual. I'm not about to summon a child. At least, not if my mother supports hers. Self-love is the key to happiness. I love my body, but my body does not love aluminum. It is the quickest way to foil my day. This isn't just a joke. Aluminum is a component of baking powder, which is found in a wide, diverse aspect of foods, such as cake, birthday cake, pancake, carrot. Let's just say I'm too much of a peasant for let them eat cake. If I do eat baking powder, I get a dire case of diarrhea. It's like gunpowder in my digestive system. So today I have for you my recommended ways of suppressing your explosive diarrhea. Number 1, don't. Number 2, do your best to squeeze tight. Just let it rumble around. But no, just like the delayed fireball spell in Dungeons and Dragons, the longer you wait, the more damage it's doing on the way out. So when you roll the dice, cast that fart, and one-shot yourself, you'll be doing laundry later. Speaking of laundry, has anyone seen my left sock? I used to be meticulous with my laundry. My socks had the lowest divorce rate in the country. But now, it seems that 60% of my socks are as single as I am. Let me kind of give you an idea of why I have such trouble keeping track of my laundry now. You get there, and you're expecting just normal laundry. Oh, my marching band shirt. I remember putting that in there. Wasn't me. Just my case. Oh, my marching band shirt. Yeah, I remember putting that in there. Oh, weird. 2 identical photos. Another marching band shirt? There's no way that was in there. I didn't have this type in there. There's no way that there are any more shirts. Wait. No. No. There's no way. There can't be. There's no. Maybe I spent too much time in marching band. Wendy, please, just take the ransom money. I need to graduate. I need to leave. Thank you, everyone.
That wasn't a dress rehearsal, man. That was not a dress rehearsal. 1, 2, 3!
Gavin thinks he's a pro bowler. Peter looks like he just came from a funeral. Ryan definitely got picked up from daycare for this. And now I'm one turn away from having a party tonight, dude! Yeah, I'm Stan, by the way. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself. I'm a twin, which means God was so lazy when he made me that he only used 4 keystrokes. Control-C, Control-V. Yeah, I'm also like the movie Doctor Strange, Ryan. The first one was fine, but it definitely did not need that sequel. I'm the third Tiexiera to come up here on the stage. Yeah! By popular demand. You see, I'm supposed to be the funny one of the family, which is the nicest way my parents could have told me that they care for my future. I'm also Brazilian, which means I have an insatiable desire to burn down a rainforest. To Americans, a Brazilian is like a mix between a Mexican and an Italian, which means I'll make you an offer you can refuse. I'm a big gym addict. I know you guys can probably tell from my crippling fear of women. means you can't jump, you can't block, you can't dunk. So clearly I don't play basketball. I play volleyball. Yeah, I was recruited to play in club, by the way. I wrote 6'4" in my immigration papers. My twin brother Ed doesn't play though. He's too short. He wrote 6'3". Yeah, I'm also single, by popular demand. You see, my girlfriend keeps demanding that I find somebody else. Yeah, so I went to a party to help me out. I went to a party to help me out. And I asked my brother's old roommate. He's here, I think. Hey, Bill. Yeah, for those who don't know, he only wears jeans, drives a truck, is a crippling alcoholic. So basically, a chick magnet. Yeah, I asked him for some dating advice. He said, dude, you want advice on your girlfriend, dude? Okay, here you go. You put on a scary movie, dude, then you scare her, and she'll leap right into your arms, dude. Works every time. Yeah. He said scary movie, but I don't think he realized I'm a horror movie buff. So he was thinking, like Ghostbusters, dude? Like Casper the Friendly Ghost? Like Alcoholics Anonymous? Some terrifying shit. While I immediately jumped to The Exorcist. So I put on the TV show Dahmer. Yeah, and I might have taken the scare her part a little too seriously. Halfway through the episode, I realized that the drill in the glasses might have been a bit too much. And she did what any girl would do in this scenario. She started taking notes. And that's when I knew she was the one. Yeah, I'm kind of messed up. Yeah, I think I was definitely made on a Friday, because the angel that made me was definitely at Mugs the night before. You know, he partied too hard with Archangel Michael, Gandhi, and Epstein. Come on, guys, he definitely went to heaven. He's white. He showed up 3 hours late, you know, had his sunglasses on, posted how to make a Brazilian on Chegg, and he started molding shit, you know, like eyes, ears, big ass nose, oversized collarbone, no calves, no abs, no money, no bitches, L ratio, blip! Worst part is, he took 8 inches off my height and added it somewhere else. That's right, my ass. And when it didn't turn out well, he made a second copy. Yeah, talking about psychopaths and messed up shit, I found my new favorite TV show, C-SPAN. And for those Zoomers that have not looked at a TV for 15 years, that's basically the United States Congress nanny cam. Yeah, I'm literally not doing anything. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen, in the newest episode, the CEO of TikTok actually testified. And it was 5.5 hours of boomers complaining about shit they know nothing about. So if you're following, just a regular Congress meeting. Yeah, what I'm about to say actually happened. You can look it up. I wish it was funny enough to make this shit up myself. So, one congressman just kept shouting about commies for 45 minutes. One congressman seriously asked if TikTok connected to the Wi-Fi network. And one congressman could not pronounce algorithm for the Wi-Fi network. It kind of came out as Elmer Fudd, or in her case, Elder Fudd. Trying to explain computer science, like, be very careful. I'm hunting algorithms. Honestly, after that Congress meeting, I think I can truly say I've seen 300 monkeys with typewriters now. Get enough time, they might actually give women rights. Yeah, the meeting was kind of like a few Vine moves away from a reality TV show. Like the reality TV show Swamp People. But with less alligators. And more guns. Yeah, it's honestly something worse than a reality TV show. It's reality. Yeah, so my dad didn't want me to write a bit about him in my show, so here's to you, Dad. I love my dad, but the old man's got way too much time in his hands. He's retired now, and I swear he's just trying to keep useful so he doesn't get recognized by the state as a senior citizen. Like, the last time I went home for Easter, he bought these urine color testers. He was like, it's useful, beat that. By the way, my dad's not Indian, he just feels Indian. He's like, it's useful, beat that. You can tell if your pea's yellow or red or green. Dad, I think you can tell well enough myself. Oh, by the way, for the record, my dad is not colorblind. He's just crazy. Yeah, he cuts my hair now, too. And what he doesn't know is he's one bad haircut away from the retirement home. So clearly, he's there now. We sat him out before this, so. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about my mom. She's my mom, you can't escape either. She's the strongest woman I know. Because she birthed twins, she got a PhD, and she can sleep through my dad's snores. That's enough for my mom. Let's go back to roasting my dad. For spring break, we went to Arizona, and while everyone else was sleeping, and I stayed awake from the walls shaking from his snoring. You know the thunder from up and under? I had a bit of time to chart the most common ones and name them here for you today. So here it goes. That's what I named, what the human interpretation of an earthquake. That's what I imagine the inside of a whale sounds like. That's the, did he die? One more thing. That's my interpretation of a pig. I just want to put that in. Or Congress. Take your pick. This is probably really turned on right now. Sorry, Liz. Yeah, that's just a heart attack. Give him some hand, he'll be fine. I guess all those years of burning down rainforests finally got to him. Yeah, that's been my show. Thank you.
make any promises to the first row. But yeah, I graduated comedy college last semester, so I wasn't really expecting to be here again. And Gavin called me last Monday at 5 p.m. And I was like, what's the matter, baby? You never call this early. And now I'm here. But yeah, my name is Jordan, and I'm an animal science major. Thank you. No, I'm not a horse girl. And I know that I'm not a horse girl because although sometimes I run late to class, I would never gallop late to class. Not even jockeys make me like short guys. And when I go to Panda Express and they ask me if I want to round up to the nearest dollar to support the local children's hospital, I always say hell no, but never hell nay. I do respect horse girls though. I feel like they have it pretty tough. They're always getting their their hair stuck in the bejewels of their back jean pockets. They have the societal burden of talking to car guys, so none of the rest of us have to. And lastly, they really have to be book smart, not street smart, because although they've taken an animal reproduction class, they've never really had any practical application. I really don't have anything against horse girls, though. I think that if you're a guy and you're dating a horse girl, you're kind of set up for life because your mom will always approve. She's just happy that your love life finally involves horse and not whores. So, speaking of love life, let's talk about mine. I recently did a little self-reflection. I found out I kind of have a lot of red flags. I always have to be right. I hate apologizing. I broke up with my last boyfriend because I found out his favorite movie was Wolf of Wall Street and I didn't feel like dating a frat guy. But I'm hoping that before I graduate, I meet a nice guy, someone that knows all my red flags but sees them as green flags. And that's why I only swipe right on guys who are colorblind. I'll be giving out my number after the show. But honestly, besides the colorblindness requirement, I would say my expectations for men on Tinder are pretty low. Iowa Tinder is actually a little bit like Vietnam. You can try to get the images out of your head. Some of them are going to be stuck forever. But yeah, freshman year I had Tinder for like 20 minutes. I saw 13 photos of ass fish in overalls. And I decided that was actually enough man for the next 4 years of my life. I'm a research assistant though, so instead of saying I'm lonely, I like to tell people that I'm experimenting with a 4-year Iowa-induced celibacy. It's true what they say though, corn-grown men really do have a can-do attitude. Like it's not that Iowa men don't try, they try so hard. And I think that that's their problem. I give Iowa men an A for effort and an F for execution, and here's why. The other day I was walking down Welch, and a guy rolled down the window of his Ford F-150 and barked at me. Barking at me as a cat call. Like, if I'm a cat and I hear barking, I'm going the other direction. But honestly, I think setting the bar really low makes even the bare minimum kind of exciting. Like one time at a football game, Cy was like waving around his little Iowa State flag, and then he dropped it. But when he bent over to pick it up, I had a little fantasy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Hey, Iowa men are so bad. Iowa men are so bad that their definition of a romantic getaway is an Airbnb on Lake Okoji, endless apps from Chili's, and condoms they stole from the Teal Student Health Center. I have been trying to put myself out there again. Last week I actually went on a date. It was pretty cool. He picked me up from my apartment, so I stuffed him in his Ford F-150. And I moved the Chili's coupons from the passenger seat to the center console. Things with this guy seemed to be going pretty well, and then he was like, "Jordy, I'm sorry, I'm just not that into you." In this guy's defense, though, I was just accepted to grad school, so most of what I have to talk about is how sore my neck is getting holding up this big old brain. But I recently found out that guys don't really like when your career goals are bigger than your bra. And my boobs, not unlike my GPA, they're sitting at an A average. One of those things I'm proud of, the other one, didn't put it on the resume. If I'm ever feeling bad though, I can just take some tissues, stuff my GPA a little bit. Academic enhancement surgery is also a really great option. Insurance might not cover the procedure, but you're only 22 and fertile once in your life. Woke up with a sore throat this morning. Oh, nice. Thanks, Lane. Not too worried that things with this guy didn't work out though, because I'm actually a really independent person. I go on all my dates alone. And what I lack in boob, I make up for in personality. A lot of ass guys in the crowd tonight. I'm a really empathetic person, and especially I empathize with people who have chronic illnesses, like my sister Jessica and I, for example. Sometimes I just feel bad for us. In high school, my sister Jessica, she played basketball and she was having really bad abdominal pain. So my dad was like, "Jess, you gotta go to the doctor, you gotta get your gut checked out." Me, on the other hand, I played softball, and I was hitting 200, so my dad was like, "Jordan, you gotta go to the optometrist and get your eyes checked out." So Jessica and I both went to the doctor, and unfortunately we had diagnoses that were pretty upsetting. Jessica was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which meant that she can't eat fruits and vegetables. And I was diagnosed with 20/20 vision, which meant that I just sucked at softball. If you haven't noticed already, I'm somebody who struggles with anxiety. And if you have noticed already, please do not tell me because it's going to make me anxious. But saying that you struggle with a mental illness is a little redundant, right? Does anyone with a mental illness not struggle with it? Has anyone ever been like, "Wow, my depression was so fruitful today"? Or "Hey, I was twiddling my thumbs with the thought of anxiety, and I totally recognize that my thoughts are just thoughts." And the funny thing about anxiety, for me at least, is that my bad days look drastically different than my good days. On a bad day, I'm like, I have 30 assignments to do. What if my future child gets bullied? Hey, on a good day, I'm like, my left sock is way tighter than my right sock. But I recently met two women who have been helping me get through my anxiety a bit better. Their names are Sarah, Tonin, and Nora Epinephrine. Yeah, those babies keep me feeling nice and average. And it was a tough decision for me to get on anxiety medication. I told my doctor that I didn't want to lose my sparkle. And then she reminded me that that's not sparkle, that's mania. Like, what a biatch, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Biatch. It really was a good choice for me to get on anti-anxiety medication though, because I kind of reached a low point when my doctor misdiagnosed me with Tourette's. Yeah, normally doctors are like, you're doing great, and what you're experiencing is very normal. Not my doctor. He was like, you're kind of weird. And the thing is, like, I don't even have Tourette's. It's just sometimes I get the urge to do something, and it's not that I have to do it. Like, I totally have control over it. It's just if I don't do it, I'm going to think about it, so I might as well do it now and get it over with so I can think about other things today. That doesn't mean I have Tourette's. That means I'm a woman. I can't tell if the guy who names the Starbucks menu items is a marketing genius or just an idiot. I mean, think about it. In the real world, if you have blonde hair, it's not brown. At Starbucks, the blonde espresso is brown. In the real world, a piece of bread cut from a loaf is called a slice. But at Starbucks, a piece of bread cut from a loaf is also called a loaf. And get this, their size is insane. So, in the real world, tall means tall. But at Starbucks, tall means small. In the real world, grande means large. But at Starbucks, grande means medium. That must be why men love their coffee so much. Starbucks is the only place where size truly doesn't matter. I'm just kidding though, that's not even true. Because all girls know that once you go venti, you never go back. I'm guilty though. I go to Starbucks like 3 times a week. I love it there. And so last week I was sitting in Starbucks, and this man walked in with his son, and he goes up to that counter and ordered a strawberry milk and a cake pop. I was like, what a great dad. And then he looked down at his son, he said, Timmy, you want anything? So naturally Timmy was like, yeah, I'll have a double shot of espresso. The accent's always better in my head. Okay, let's try it again. So Timmy said, yeah, I'll have a double shot. What, I got finger paints with Chloe at 9? Debbie wants to play tag again. I got bitches crawling on me like the damn jungle gym. You know what, on second thought, make that a triple shot. I like to keep it strong like me. And keep the change, sweetheart. Buy yourself a milk. And make it chocolate. All right, let's get out of here, Dad. And with that, I'm out of here too.
Naturally, tonight I'm going to be talking about IKEA. So, if you guys don't know what IKEA is, the easiest way for me to describe it is as a little slice of heaven sent straight from across the pond. And I personally am drawn to it, like a moth to a flame, a pit bull to a toddler. Or even a javelin missile to a Chinese hot air balloon. Now the reason I'm so infatuated with this magical kingdom is because of a chair called the Po-Yang. Now, the Po-Yang is this majestic wooden throne that literally translates to lumbar bliss. And every once in a while, I'll just take a trip down to IKEA to get my sweet, sweet Swedish heroin fix. And one day, once I'm a full-blown engineer, I hope that I will be able to own my own Po-Yang. Now, based on these dreams of mine, it may not be surprising that I don't get invited to many parties. And when I do get invited to parties, I don't like to drink. This, combined with my other quirks, has led many to call me mature for my age, or even an old soul. And I don't really know what that means, but I always kind of thought it was a little bit of an innuendo for disappointment. But in my limited experience, going to parties sober is a lot like babysitting. Not my experience babysitting, of course. I'm a dude. But it's a lot like babysitting because you go to the parties, you'd rather be anywhere else. You have to keep people who should never be behind the wheel of a car from drinking too much grape juice. And lastly, you have to leave once the parents get home. Plus, if you smoke too much weed, you have to go to the hospital. Speaking of hospitals, they are very happy and very sad places. My parents, they always told me that one of the happiest days of their lives was when I was born. And they've shown me a lot of photos, and I have to say that that's madcap. Because in every single photo, I always look incredibly upset. And if I'm being honest with you guys tonight, I did not look much happier at my brother's birth either. I got this as a high school graduation gift. It says, "Text your mother." I don't. Now, I'm a mechanical engineer, or I'm studying to be a mechanical engineer. And a lot of my friends went a very similar path of studying to be aerospace engineers. And one of these friends in particular, in high school, he was struggling a little bit with physics. And one of my more blunt friends told him that he had no idea how he could ever become an aerospace engineer when he could not even handle the grasp on high school physics. And my friend's response, it made a lot of us pretty scared, because he told us that Chegg was free. And I personally don't know what is scarier. Flying in a plane where even the engineer doesn't know if it's going to land, safely on the runway and not with Nemo. Or flying Delta. And the other weekend, I was at one of my house meetings, and we were doing this thing called a hot seat. And for those of you who don't know what a hot seat is, it's where one person stands up in the middle of the room, and they have to answer a ton of anonymously submitted questions, which is much like what I imagine dating is like.
What I imagine.
There. But one of these questions caught me particularly off guard. It was, if she was stuck on the planet in Interstellar, where 1 hour on that planet equals 7 years in the real world, what would she do? And her response was that she would focus on getting off. Now, I cannot be the only one who did not understand what she meant. Although, admittedly, I was pretty suited at the time. So. I didn't always used to have to wear glasses. I went to the eye doctor about a year ago, and this was when I finally decided to stop cheating on the eye test. And I did need glasses. I did that for about 12 years. But the reason I held off so long was because I always thought that I wouldn't look as good with glasses than I did without. But how much could I know? I couldn't even see. Fortunately, I had nothing to worry about, as it turns out most people like me for my body anyways. A little bit before this, about a year before this, I was at the DMV, and they make you take an eye test there, which I did not know. And so I did not have adequate time to study. So, needless to say, when I got up there to take the test, I failed miserably. I bombed that bad boy. And I thought it was over. I was really saddened by the prospect of coming back the next day after I memorized it. But fortunately, I had nothing to worry about. The DMV worker was extremely nice and understanding, and they told me to just try again. Speaking again of driving, I was in my car a little while ago taking a little bit of a day trip. Okay, I won't lie, I was driving to IKEA. And I noticed something that I hadn't noticed before. On my steering wheel, right next to the horn were these little bumps. And after I put on my glasses, I realized that it was Braille. Now, due to its proximity to the horn, I could only assume that it meant horn. Or, I don't know, maybe stick to the rumble strips.